welcome to the Board Game Network. Today I'm going to be showing you how to play this game called Siege. It's a short little game put out by AEG. Plays 2 to 6 players in about 15 minutes. Everybody picks a color and they have 7 cards numbered 0 through 6. Everybody has identical cards and they all have a different name on them. They all have different abilities. We got the Gong Farmer, the Assassin, the Gatekeeper, the Courtier, the King, the Chancellor, and the Knight, in that order. And so what you do is you start with your cards face down, and you can put them in any order you want them in. And you always have the ability to look at your cards whenever you want to, and you don't want to show the opponents. And so the opponent, they're going to have their line here too. And everybody does one action. Starting with the first player, you get to do one action. You have a possibility of 4 different ones. You've got Siege, Attack, Sacrifice, or Fall Back. Those are your 4 actions. You get to do one, and then it becomes the next player's turn. So the very first one is Siege. So you take one of your cards and you move it forward in front of your opponent's card. I got these kind of pushed close together for the camera, but they'd be spread farther apart. So you push it up in front of another card, and then this card is in siege or under siege, and this card is putting it into siege there. And that's all you do. That is the siege action. It becomes the next player's turn, and the next player gets to choose. So your second option is to attack, and the way to attack is you flip over your card and you attack another card that is in siege with you. So on my next turn, I could flip this over, and I definitely would not be attacking with a king. So I would flip it over, and if this card is greater than or equal to this card, it just stays face down. The opponent would say, nope, you didn't beat me, and my attacker gets discarded. I lose my attacker. Now, the green person, he could on his turn choose to attack. And if he attacks, then I would look at my card and say, nope, you didn't defeat me. Now both of those are Chancellors. So it's not going to defeat this one, so that one would get discarded. However, if, let's find a bigger one. Let's find a smaller one. Smaller here. So there's a 6, 2. Let's say we've got the Gatekeeper over here that went into siege with the Chancellor. And the Chancellor attacked, and the black person would say, yep, you defeated me. So this one gets discarded and the attacker gets discarded. Both of them get discarded. So the attacker's always going to lose their card no matter what. Your third option is to sacrifice. And your third option, you sacrifice your card to do whatever the ability is on the card. So let's get these flipped back over. The Gong Farmer does not do anything. The Assassin has the power to defeat the King or the Knight. So if the Knight is attacking the Assassin, or if the Assassin comes up and attacks the Knight or the King, the Assassin is going to win. And so that is not, you don't sacrifice for that action. That's just an event or a ability that it has. The Courtier has the ability to make an opponent sacrifice a card. But when you sacrifice, you're going to have to, you flip this card over and discard it to make, say, green sacrifice a card. So they have to sacrifice one of their cards. And once a card is in siege, like this, you cannot sacrifice it, you cannot fall back, you cannot move it into a siege with a different one. It is locked there until that attack has happened. So if the Courtier gets played on the green player cannot sacrifice that one. Chancellor has the ability to make a target card must retreat. So let's say green was up here and attacking my king. I could sacrifice this one to make that card go back. And both of these, play continues from the targeted player. So that player then gets gets the next chance to go. So no, regardless of if you're skipping players, that's okay. The gatekeeper has a combat value of 5 when they're on the border. So if they're on the far right or the far left, instead of it being a 2, it's a 5. But that's only when you're in your own castle. If you are attacking with it, then you're not going to be on the border. You're not in your castle. There is no ability for the king. If you lose the king, you've lost and you're out of the game, so all your cards get discarded. And the knight has the power to shield another character. So let's say that somebody attacked the king, which that would not be a good attack, but let's say the chancellor came over and attacked my king. I could, with my knight, flip it over, sacrifice it to shield this king, and then that one would get discarded also. So you do not get to see what that card is, but you protected it. So this one is not done on your turn. This ass is not done on your turn. Okay, so that's your third option. The fourth option is to fall back, and fall back is a mandatory action that happens if you're no longer in siege. So if I come over here and attack, and this one attacks me, Gong Farmer, and gets defeated, then on my next turn, this one is not in a siege situation anymore, so I am forced to fall back. And I can fall back to any space that I want to in my castle. It's a mandatory action. I have to do it. So, and that's the only way you can fall back. You cannot choose to go into siege and then choose to fall back. It doesn't work that way. So, that is Siege. Remember, put out by AEG. Quick little game. You can play it 2 to 6 players again. Make sure you tune into all of our videos here at the Board Game Network so you can learn how to play games like Siege.